Alex. Welcome to everybody from my side as well. For this first round so far, questions have been centralized around where can colleagues find the relevant documents of the call. We've tried to provide the links to all the relevant documents for the entire work program of the SNS, as well as the phase one projects, and where they can find the documentation for this call two of the program. Hopefully, those aspects have been cleared. We're now having some additional questions coming in. For instance, there's a question from Yevgen on what is the consensus on the KPIs and KVIs for Stream B, and that the documents mention some activity conducted by ITU in regards to standardizing these aspects. If there is any preliminary information available yet. I'm not sure if, Alex, this is something we can already answer.
Pavlo, I don't know if you want to take this question.
Maybe I can try, of course, I guess. I don't know if there's a consensus in KPIs and KVIs, but of course we use all the previous, as mentioned, as input. Several visions, especially the 5GBP visions, as mentioned by Colin in his presentation. But we don't speak about consensus on KPIs and KVIs. This is still under development. There is no final vision yet. We're waiting, as you know, for the ITU vision during this year. So we mentioned a few indicative ones, of course, but we expect more to come, or maybe there will be a kind of harmonization of KPIs and KVIs from during the next period. But in terms of our work program, of course, we mentioned a few. We don't give quantification. Of course, we expect the projects will deal with it. There are also projects in phase one dealing with KPIs and KVIs in the 6G arena. So again, no consensus and no detailed information in the work program, and we are looking forward to what's coming next in this area.
Pavlo, if I could add that for the ITU document, the plan from ITU, to our knowledge, is to have something ready by June 2023. Already from the SNS, we are contributing to the preparation of this document. So there are activities to help have some further progress on this. It is exactly as you said, Pavlo, that there is no consensus right now. But indeed, there are ongoing activities, and during 2023, we will have more information and more concrete ideas about these KPIs and KVIs. Suffice to say that we have a dedicated activity for KVIs in the 6G Industry Association Vision Working Group, where the KVIs are being discussed, and also the flagship HexaX. And now in the HexaX2 project, the KVIs will also be further analyzed. So I think that this could be some good links for the stakeholders to have a look at. Costa, back to you.
Okay. Yes. Thank you both for the answer. Since it's being asked again in the Q&A, let me clarify again that all slides from today's sessions will become available at the SNSJU website, including the recording of the session. So you'll be able to go back and revisit every part of it. Pablo, there is a question indeed that you can probably help us with. The question is whether the calls under the work program for 23 and 24 belong to phase 2 of the SNS. So
yes. So as shown in the roadmap before, indeed, this second call will launch, let's say, the second phase of the SNSJU, as all projects are going to start around beginning 2024. So yes, the answer is yes.
Thank you, Pablo. Moving on to a follow-up question. I think there might be more details on this later on, but there is a question about how will partnerships with US work out, and how the US partners will be funded, and if they need to apply for NSF. I'm not sure if this is going to be part of the follow-up presentations, or do you want to take this now?
No, I think this is part of the next presentation, right, Alex? So let's Alex will mention that in detail afterwards. Huh?
Yes, we can do it this way.
Okay, then I will also defer any further NSF related questions, which I see at least one more for the next Q&A session. If it's not replied by then, please get back to us. Okay, glad to see there are more questions rolling in. if you say TRL 2 to 4 for stream B, does this refer to the TRL level at the beginning of the project? Pablo?
No, we refer to the results of the project, in fact. When we say TRL 2 to 4, to say the final results and achievements of the project. It's not at the start. We don't speak at the start, what is happening there in the beginning.
Sounds good. I think there's a question potentially more targeted towards Peter regarding when can we expect the details for the third call for 5G corridors? I'm not sure if that was to do with the CEF or...
Yeah.
Can we provide some answer on this now? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure we know the answer. I don't know if someone, Peter, I don't know if you know anything afterwards. Otherwise, we can provide, some information afterwards on that. Alex, would you please unmute Peter?
Peter, you can unmute now.
Very good. Sorry for that. Yeah, so this depends a bit on the outcome of the call too. So I would say that by springtime, April, May, we would have some more information, but it also has to be agreed with the program committee. So yeah, so I would say the publication of call 3, hopefully before the summer break. And by then you would also then can expect an info day.
Thank you, Peter. Looking at the time, I think Alex should be wrapping up soon, even though we have a lot of questions rolling in. Should we take one more?
Indeed, I would propose we discuss a little bit. We can take a couple of more questions. The first one is there an expectation for phase 2 proposals to be aligned with phase 1 funded projects by covering the gaps highlighted in the briefing? Pavlo, would you like to answer this, or I can?
So, yeah. So, yeah, of course, we speak about a programmatic approach anyway from the start. So, that doesn't mean that the new projects will work in a silo mode. So, we have an ongoing programmatic approach. So, phase 1 projects and phase 2 will continue to collaborate and exchange, let's say, results, ideas, and try to work together and covering all the gaps highlighted in the work program, of course. So there will be collaboration. As we know in the 60, there will be various structures to do that, the working groups activities where the projects can team up and work together in similar technological areas and so on and so forth. So we expect a strong collaboration between all these projects, and this is also something that will be mentioned later in the presentation of the specific conditions that projects have any way to sign all this collaboration agreement under the partnership. So collaboration not only with the phase 2, but also with phase 1 projects.
And also to add that as Pavlos has presented, the second call is not only about, for stream B, is not only about covering the gaps of phase 1. There are some new topics as well. So it's a matter of the stakeholders to decide where they want to give their priorities and the combination that they want to have. And one final question, is there any need for consortia to include standard roadmaps inside their proposal? Does LOS from a recognized SDO help with the project proposal success rate? So we have said again and again that standardization is quite important for stream B. I will mention this again in my presentation, but Pablo?
Yeah, what we can say at this stage, it is important that the projects show that they have a strong standardization impact. So there are many ways to show that, and of course, it is important to take into account in the evaluation that they have a strong potential for standardization. So there are many ways to do that. I don't want to focus only on one, as long as the projects try to justify this approach.